I first would like to say thank you so much for, giving me the time to speak to this like-minded group of individuals. Just a little bit about myself. I really got involved in activism here in Corpus Christi when I worked for Beto on his Senate campaign. I was part of his BCAT, which stands for Beto's Community Activation Team. It's like a fancy word for you're gonna go into the dangerous places that nobody wants to go knock on doors. And honestly, those were the houses that I got invited to come in and eat fideo at. And the nice houses, I was having guns pulled on me. So that was pretty rough. But it made me fall in love with all of the blights of Corpus Christi. And it got me starting to ask why. Why does our city look like this? Why are things not improving? Why are people not holding the people in power accountable? So I was invited in 2020, in the middle of this pandemic, to go volunteer with another group that assists with feeding the homeless downtown. And I assumed, at the time I was working in a kitchen, I assumed, oh, they want me to go down there and help serve food. And I show up and the guy who's running it is like, you look big and intimidating. We're gonna put you at the front of the line, make sure people don't fight. Everybody gets one plate. I think you got this, man. And I'm like, okay. So I'm standing there and I got the unique opportunity to be able to look at each person that got a plate that day. And as I started seeing people coming up, I saw people without shoes. And it really struck a chord with me because I'm part of the LGBTQIA community. And me and my father, who's a staunch Hispanic Catholic, didn't always see eye to eye. And at times, I'd get kicked out of my house without any warning. And one of those times I got kicked out without a pair of shoes, because I'm sure we all hang out at our house not wearing shoes, right? And I wanted my pair of shoes, and my dad's like, I paid for them, you get out of here, And I remember sleeping in a park with no shoes and people seeing me and feeling so undignified. And seeing these people and thinking to myself, how bad do you have to be in need to stand in a park with no shoes for a plate of food? And I went home and it just really, really bothered me. I just couldn't let it go. And I'm walking in and out of my closet and I notice, dude, you got a lot of shoes here that you're not even wearing. And I wear a size 9 men's. That's a very, very popular size. So I loaded up a box with all the shoes that I wasn't wearing. And that's how the free store started. I went back with my pair of shoes. I gave them out. I'm a massage therapist by trade, so I know a lot of people. So then I started pestering my clients. So I was like, man, you look like you're a size 11. And I got a guy who really needs those work boots. Because if he can get those work boots, he says that he can go to work, So give me those boots. And, it's kind of like when you give a mouse a cookie. I was going to ask for a glass of milk. I couldn't give someone a pair of shoes whose pants were falling down, right? I couldn't give someone a belt who had no shirt on. And how can I give someone hygiene and things like that? And they're like, I'm really, really grateful for this, but I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Do you even have like trail mix in your car, gum, anything? And that's where we've grown to current day. We offer a hot, ready-to-eat meal. We also offer food to go, canned items so that ants and pests don't affect it. You don't have to keep it cold, things like that. Makes it really, really easy if you're very nomadic. We offer, a full wardrobe. You could show up naked, which we've had some people show up naked, and we get them fully clothed. And not just clothes on their back, but clothes to take home with them. Luggage, bags, miscellaneous items like reflectors so that when they're walking on the streets, motorists can see them. Things like sunglasses, because when you're outside all the time, can you imagine just squinting like that? It's terrible. It's how you get a headache. Getting burnt from the sun because you're just outside and the city refuses to give you areas for you to hang out at. You could get ticketed for sitting under a tree here in Corpus Christi. just for resting. And a lot of times my friends get tickets for that, have been beaten by police for that, okay? So it's really rough, you know, we get not just homeless people, I like to use the word extreme poverty, people experiencing extreme poverty. It looks different for everyone. Sometimes it's the college student who's barely making ends meet and is living in his car. Maybe it's the mother fleeing from domestic violence and is scared to go to any of the shelters here because he'll find me there. Maybe it's the runaway kid who got pregnant from their uncle and does not want the police called. You know, I had a 16-year-old that I was like, why are you asking these weird questions? And then I realized, you're a kid. I thought you were an adult. You're 16, where are you from? And like was from another state. And I literally went like this, and I went like that, and she was gone. You know, I was calling judges and getting like, we got to get this girl off the street and help. But that's how quickly things change and happen on these Corpus Christi streets. I know people who have died because of the elements and the lack of accessibility to resources out here. So me and like-minded individuals like Cannon and my friend Jillian and a lot of my other friends said, somebody's got to do something. And I am somebody. So we currently do monthly picnics. It used to be a bi-weekly thing, but with the amount of people that we have coming through right now, we just do not currently have the resources to meet that demand. So we're currently at a month-to-month basis. We work with different walks of life of people. You know, we have volunteers as young. I think my youngest two were two little brothers. They were 4 and 5. They had a yard sale and sold their toys, and the money that they got from their yard sale, they bought stuff to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they told their mother, I want to hand these out. I don't want to just make them, I want to hand them out. And Mom brought them, parked her minivan right next to our free store, and they handed out peanut butter and jellies and Gatorade to our friends. And it deeply, deeply impacted our friends. They're like, they care. Yeah, they wanted to hand it straight to you, man. And that parent is doing a great job with those kids. But I even have as old as 88, 89, I have 90-year-olds out there, grandmas, grandpas. And just seeing that wide array of people out there, our friends are like, somebody does care, our community does care. It's not just this, me being beaten, ticketed, constantly roaming the streets. The community does care. We have partnered with organizations like the Indigenous People of the Coastal Bend, For the Greater Good, CBCIL, Coastal Compass, MHID, the Salvation Army, and the Corpus Christi Care Center. We don't just offer the free store services, we also offer like street medic care. We do have people who show up and they're bleeding or have gangrene going on them, and they will not go to the hospital, even though we beg them to, and we will be a medical advocate for them. It's not enough for us to just drop them off at the curb. We're going to go in because we know that the system is rigged against them. So we try our best to help people get that point A so we can get them boosted over to point B, because they can do B to C on their own. You know, when I first started doing this, I just was more concerned about, you know, the immediate need, you know, your feet being bare and getting cut up, not having food in your stomach. And a consequence, a beautiful consequence, is a lot of our friends, and it's not like I tell them, you need to stop doing drugs and you need to stop, you know, roaming these streets and hooking. You know, I just tell them, I love you, I'm worried about you, I will go looking for you if you don't show up to the next store. And just that encouragement that somebody's going to come and look for me. Eventually, our friends come up to us and say, I'm ready. I'm ready to go to jail, sit out that ticket. I'm ready to go to substance abuse. I'm ready to get off these drugs or alcohol. I'm ready to talk to my parents. We've had a couple of people who have shown up. We give out free haircuts. And I remember one gentleman, he came up and was real shaggy. We got him a nice high and tight. We had a barber out there. He looked real sharp. We got him some new fresh clothes and pumped him up, and all on his own, he turned around after that haircut and he's like, I think my mom would recognize me. And I'm like, where's your mom, man? She's in town. When's the last time you saw her? It's been probably 3 years. Well, are you gonna go see her? Yeah, I think so. And we turned around, we're like, here man, here's some like money to go buy some flowers or something. And that was the last time I saw him. I think he mended things with his mom and he's now housed. A lot of our friends, if I could say, give a percentage, I would say probably around 7 to 12% of our shoppers gain housing. I don't want to take all the credit for that, but when you get people out of that survival mode, they're not like animals out there trying to find food, trying to find safety. When you can help someone reach that bare minimum needs for survival, people can pull themselves out of the depths of poverty, you know. A lot of people don't understand, well, why don't they go to the shelters? You know, there's that brand new Salvation Army shelter. It's full. It's been full. It's over capacity. Well, what about the Good Sam? They just got that new place right there off of, you know, Navigation. Why not there? It's full. It's been full. And here's another statistic that a lot of people don't realize is that there's more men that are typically homeless or struggling through poverty. So as a woman, when you go to these shelters, you're the minority. You will be assaulted. It's going to happen. I wish I could say that it doesn't, but they're just trying to keep the place from burning up, you know? They don't have time to worry about that there's a guy going into the women's restrooms or assaulting children. That kind of stuff happens all the time at shelters. If you can even get in, right? There's a big waiting list to get in there. Corpus Christi, the city of Corpus Christi has been fined by the federal government that, hey, you know that there's not enough affordable housing for the population that you have. If you don't do something, we are gonna fine you. So the solution to houselessness is house them. It's cheaper than allowing them to live out on the sidewalks and in the parks. So I'm a small business owner, I'm a massage therapist, like I said, I have my own day spa, and I purposely have my day spa in the uptown area. And so many of my clients are like, oh my goodness, why are you there? There's just a bunch of strippers, hookers, and just unsavory people over there. And I'm like, that's why I want to be there, because it's going to take small business owners and nonprofits to come and bully the city into doing something. I want to beautify that area. When people talk about Corpus Christi, I'm like, dude, the downtown, uptown, that's where it's at. That's where it was popping when Corpus first started. I hear all these stories about just how wonderful Leopard was back in the day. Now you say Leopard and people are like, ooh, I won't go there, you know? That was created by the city of Corpus Christi. They have been telling us nonprofits since the 80s, I'm hearing, from the 80s, we're gonna do something. We're gonna get that low barrier shelter going, and here it is, 2023, we've had a pandemic. It definitely exacerbated the problem, and they're still just talking about it. A lot of the nonprofits have what's called compassion fatigue. They don't mean to be mean. I honestly feel bad for them because the city has dumped their problem on their backs. And they feel like the city's like, well, we'll just give them money, you know? When we're talking about houselessness, homelessness, poverty, money just spends, you know? People think, well, 100,000 is enough, right? You know, to establish a low barrier shelter, it's 5.4 million. And that's just to build the thing. We're not talking about code enforcement, how are you gonna run it? What about the maintenance? How are you gonna expand it? You know, other cities are doing it. San Antonio is doing it. They have a place there called Haven for Hope. Austin has one. It is called the Esperanza community, and it's managed by a wonderful organization that I try to model myself after called TOOF. It stands for The Other Ones Foundation. It's a Grateful Dead reference. They're wonderful people, and they participate in what we participate here at the Free Store, which is radical hospitality or radical kindness. And what that means is we accept you however you come to us. If you're walking up to me drunk, stumbling, as long as you're not hurting me or hurting yourself, come sit down, man. What's going on? I'm real messed up. When's the last time you ate, man? Let me get you a sandwich. Just sit down here, relax. Why are you being so nice? I'm a stranger. You don't even know me. Yes, I do. You're my community member. You're my neighbor. You're my friend. I don't see you as a client. I see you as a friend. You know, a lot of these people, I know you see them when you go to gas stations, McDonald's, on the street. Hey, you got any change? You know, I get it, you know, not giving people money, totally understand. But look at them. Look them in the face. I don't have any change, but I hope you have a great day. I don't have any change, but did you know it's gonna rain today? It's probably gonna start around 4 o'clock, and the current time is, because most of them don't have phones, don't have watches, and we just completely forget about that. So how is someone supposed to pull themselves up by the bootstraps if they don't even know what time it is, and then it's gonna rain, all my stuff is gonna get soaked, and everything's gonna get stolen again, you know? So we collaborate in the community with all other nonprofits, with private citizens, with anybody who's willing to be kind and help us push this rock up to make our city a better city for everyone. So like, where do we go from here? You know, currently we do free stores. We set up this picnic, you know, and it's a picnic. It's a lot of fun. We're playing games. There's kids running around. People are laughing and giggling. We give out a bunch of cool stuff. It's a lot of fun. You guys should really come out. There's different ways that you can help us. The easiest way, like the easiest, is just giving us money. You know, we're on PayPal. You can write us a check. You can give us cash donation. You could sponsor a meal. Say, hey, I want to buy the chicken for next time, or I want to buy the pasta. But that is a very, very small part of what we do. We do sorting parties where we actually pre-sort. We don't just get clothes on. We get the clothes from our donors. We sort through the clothes and see, okay, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? And then we size it just like a store, right? And then when you come out, we set everything out like a store, and we have store associates. So it's not enough for me to just throw clothes on the table. It's, hi, how are you? What size do you wear? You're a medium? I think this green shirt will look really good with your red hair. Let's do that, right? No? You wanna do this? So we assist shoppers, so we always need volunteers at picnics or sorting events. It's super, super important. The more volunteers that we have out there, the more successful our friends are. They're able to find things a lot easier. They're able to connect with different people from different backgrounds. Sometimes you'll see someone out there that you know, and you're like, that reminds me of my son. My son could be just like this person. You know, and sometimes, you know, I love when Becky comes out because she's just like salty and old, and she just goes up to them and is like, you're gonna be okay. It's all gonna be all right. And they're just like, thanks, Becky. and she goes out there and she handles it, you know, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the little kids coming out and volunteering and helping. It's a great learning experience. I always encourage young people to come out. We do have quite a few young people that do come out and support us. So where are we headed in the future? So like, what are we doing? What we're currently working towards is establishing a brick and mortar space. Currently we're mobile. You know, people are only able to access us once a month, and it's just not enough. We would love to have a 7-day-a-week brick and mortar store so that if you saw someone, you'd be like, hey, there's a store, go over there. They're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or whatever. Go get you some clothes and shoes. You know, you can always know that that store is open and they'll help you. We're trying to secure funding to invest in a enclosed trailer and food truck for transportation purposes. We want to establish a free public, this is gonna really piss the city off. We wanna establish, low barrier free public showers and laundry services so that people can just come up free of charge, let's wash you up and wash your clothes and get you going, right? And we wanna service more of Nueces County, places like Calallen, Flower Bluff, the Island, the South Side, Robstown, etc. And we want to advocate for and help establish a low barrier shelter in Corpus Christi. It was an agenda item. The agenda item was called Safe Harbor, and the very, very mean, ugly hate group, that's what they are. They are a hate group in Flower Bluff. It's called Taking Back the Bluff. Yeah, they were sprinkling sugar in encampments so that the ants would come and bite people.
Oh my goodness.
They were making Facebook comments saying, when you see them crossing the street, just run them over and save the taxpayers some money. That's the kind of people that the city of Corpus Christi listened to. They got scared and they pulled it off. Now I'm showing up and intimidating the hell out of them. I'm over it. There's people dying out there, dying. People just as old as some of these people in here, and I'm like, you're how old and you're out here and you're just gonna die under the bridge? How can you be comfortable with that? You know, how can Paulette Guajardo go to work every day and walk by and see those people literally using their fence to dry their blankets? How? I guess that oil and gas money just distracts her. I guess she uses that to cover her eyes, I don't know. But we together as a community can take back our city and improve it for everyone. And it starts with being kind. That is our slogan, kindness makes the difference. And it does, and that's what separates us from the other nonprofits, is that we slow down and we're nice and we're kind and we protect our friends, because they're my friends. I would take a bullet for them. So, does anybody have any questions for me?